Ladies and gentlemen, something pretty crazy is happening to XRP right now. Before I move on, if you're still holding XRP, make sure you press that like button. And what I mean is if we're taking a look at the price, right now we're almost back at 52 cents, but more importantly, is the top gainer. The last hours or so it's not been, but for all day today and a big part of yesterday, it's been the top gainer in the entire top 100. And if you want me to put that into context for you a little bit, just now, let me quickly show you, just about 6 days ago or so, 6 days ago, let's call it 6-7 days ago, the price was 40 cents and right now it is 52. So, by the way, I'm not sure if you guys can hear it. They're having a crazy festival outside. Try to look up what it is, but I don't speak Japanese and nobody wants to tell me. I digress. Price. Well, it was it was interesting to say the least. This is the weekly chart for XRP. The last couple of weeks, it just looked like it was bleeding more and more and more, which obviously it was. But then all of a sudden, the price is up now 35% over the last week or so. And I don't know who I need to tell this to, but that's pretty freaking significant. And it's kind of funny how I almost never make XRP videos anymore because of all the negative comments. But you know what's most funny? When I look at the video I made yesterday and see the price being up another, 10% or so since I made the video, it makes me feel good. You know why? Because I've made more than 1,000, 1,200 or so videos about XRP talking about why we're holding this one. And I'm telling you guys something right now. Most likely, I'm just being honest with you, these gains are not going to set through unless there's something happening in the background that we don't know. But this shows me yet again, and you see, this is why you never change a winning freaking opinion. This shows me yet again the theory I've been drafting throughout time. And that is exactly like I said it in yesterday's video. If somebody asks me, should you buy XRP? I'll tell them, well, it's for a risk-reward perspective, not the best period to buy, but XRP usually is a late bloomer. XRP has got the clarity from the regulatory side, and there's a very good chance the price will go a multiple, I'm going to call it, above its all-time high. So I'm saying from whatever 50 cents right now to, I'm going to say as a baseline, $6, $7, $8, but I'm personally thinking way higher than that. So from that perspective, yes, but I will say that there's not as much hype recently as it was the last few years, and so I personally like to go for it more when there's more hype. Like for example, this week here, if this sets through and the gains keep coming in, we might shift over. And this sounds pretty stupid to people. Why would you buy something that's up a ton? Well, it's because very often in crypto bull markets, things that move up keep moving up, and things that are moving down, you might buy it because it's undervalued, but you're playing a really big risk. In this case here, usually it's Bitcoin first, ETH next, altcoins after. And so the idea then will be to not go for XRP yet because it only starts going crazy later in a cycle. Then again, some things are different because it's been so undervalued for so long. Let me rephrase it all. I am not telling you guys that the gains we're seeing today are going to be here every day now, but I'm just telling you that this is like a starting feel of what bull markets feel like when you don't fully understand why something is going up, but it keeps going on every single day. We're just 2 days in, so nothing special. Most likely these gains will be just wiped out as it comes from the CME announcement. If you do not know, yesterday I posted this. The CME, starting July 29th, benefit from transparent pricing on 2 new cryptos as CME, CF Internet Computer Dollar, and XRP dollar reference rates, and real-time indices are added to our expanding suite of benchmarks. I guess because they don't want the full reliance on places like CoinMarketCap to get their prices from. They want their own aggregation of sorts. And it's basically the articles I covered yesterday, right? We have all these positive articles that have been here throughout time, but it's mostly when the price starts pumping a little bit that people realize, hey, yeah, you know what? There's been so much depression throughout all this time. At some point, that's got to change, right? Here, for example, expert believes XRP may hit $57, etc., etc. But let me quickly show you. There are 2 other things that were quite interesting. On the right, you can see one thing that was quite peculiar was that Tom Emmer is leading the charge to basically get Gary Gensler fired. But we'll talk about it in a separate video later today. What is most interesting is that today, for all of you that do not know, it's the 1-year anniversary of the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. victory, I'm going to call it. And Brad Garlinghouse started to talk about that a little bit earlier today by saying, let's quickly look at the chief legal officer of Ripple, and then we'll move on. Some reflections, this is from today, but he edited it. Some reflections as we approach the 1-year anniversary of Judge Torres's summary judgment decision in the SEC v. Ripple lawsuit. First and foremost, it was a watershed moment to find as a matter of law a token, in this case XRP, in and of itself is not a security. This decision led to a spate of others, most recently in the Binance case, that recognized the SEC's gross overreach and lack of faithful allegiance to the law under Chair Gensler. And again, it's kind of funny that right now they're calling to get Gary Gensler fired. And there was another little piece in the midst where it was the fact that BUSD, which went from 70 billion or 30 billion to almost zero because of it might be a security, to now be deemed not a security. But the coin, or the stablecoin I should say, completely died out, right? Paxos is pretty disappointed, I'd say, because they lost crazy sums of revenue for that because of an investigation. And it kind of shows that Gary Gensler likes to do things the harsh way first. The courts have provided a much-needed check on the SEC's behavior, but clarity on a token-by-token basis through interminable litigation is unacceptable. Policymakers on both sides of the aisle are getting increasingly frustrated with the lack of legislative process on crypto as the US continues to fall behind the rest of the world. While our case as a whole isn't fully over, the remedies still need to be decided, the court's ruling that XRP is not a security will not change. Even the SEC told the court it will not challenge that conclusion. Don't be distracted by the SEC's continued efforts to mire Ripple and the industry in the litigation trenches. That runway is running out for the SEC. Ripple and the entire industry has and will emerge stronger long after Chair Gensler is gone. And then Brad Garlinghouse had this to say, some nice words about, I'm going to say again, the 1-year anniversary of it all. He said this, 2023, July 13th, there we go. That was what's going on? That was a very good day for Ripple and the entire industry of crypto, and for me personally, a core memory, because obviously the lawsuit against them was also over. I'm not sure if it was that day or pretty soon afterwards. We had the conviction to fight the bully that has harassed and executed an unlawful war on our industry. As I said when it started, I knew we were on the right side of the law and that we would be on the right side of history. In the years since, Gensler's SEC has ramped up its war on crypto. They've not been too successful. Take a look at Ethereum, for example. They have to back the frick down. But they are still going against Uniswap, Coinbase, you name it, with the false belief that they could smother this technology and industry. With failed lawsuits, false rhetoric, slander, and intimidation, they were wrong then, and they are wrong now. And I guess because of the price pump, even though it's very slight today, this might mark as the XRP history day of sorts, right? Where everybody's going to remember it as that day. Because it's kind of funny how the price is up so much when nothing particularly is happening to Bitcoin or nothing. But also, when I just look at the comments, by the way, guys, if you're not doing it, make sure you press that like button. When I look at the comments, I'm just scrolling through them right now. You know how many people are okay, never mind. There are actually a couple of people who wants to now scam coin. Somebody says, how can I still make useless videos about this coin? This guy gets paid to show XRP. Sold all my XRP. It's garbage. Okay, so never mind. The original comments when the video came out were really quite positive. It's changed up ever so slightly, though. Another thing I find funny as well is I'm not a native English speaker, by the way. Not from America, like many people think. Anyway, so let's conclude a couple of things, because usually... let me quickly show it to you. This is the one comment I see the most. And that is people saying, hey man, don't get so excited about a very little pump. But I think a lot of people are just either kind of hateful or impatient. And what I mean with that is, you got to appreciate the small things. There's a person out there who's going to retire off of a 4% move. If you don't know how, I don't want to call you ignorant, but if you can't comprehend how somebody can retire if the price can move 4% or just moves 4%, then I please read up a little bit, because then you don't understand anything about money, crypto, or anything, trade in general, the economy. 4% is a lot. It's literally billions of dollars that somebody could make off of that. Put it just to give an idea. Obviously, it's not going to happen most of the time. It's just to give an idea. And another point he says is, it would have been one of the worst things to hold over the past 7 years. Can't deny that. Yeah, which is why you diversify. Yeah, I mean, you might say it differently. If you bought it early in 2017, it would have still been one of the best investments over the last 7 years. If you bought it late 2017, might have not been one of the best. To counter that, well, there have been many coins who did way worse. And we're at the start of the next crazy run-up. So don't compare it to where we were over the last few years. Most coins have not passed their all-time high this cycle yet. Some have, like BNB, but most have not. Let's see in another 6 or 7 or whatever months from now, see how the coins have done then at the next peak bull market. And once more, I'm going to tell you, let's be honest here, if XRP still doesn't do good at the end of this run, there's no more excuse because the lawsuit came out victorious basically. But I don't think there's any chance that this time around it's not going to do well. Again, if somebody new is asking me which coins to buy, XRP would not be quick on my list because there's not as much hype as it was previously, and it just doesn't seem like the sectors that are most interesting. AI, real world assets, everything tokenization related, it seems to be way more in favor. But as the phases start to shift, maybe, just maybe, it becomes the right thing again. Anyway, I'm also biased because I already have a lot and I've been holding it for so many years, and I'm not selling it. There was, for example, okay, let me quickly kind of sum up everything. So I have a stash that I'm basically planning on holding for forever, sort of. Maybe not. If XRP is like 25 bucks, maybe things will change, right? Let's be honest here. Let's be honest here a little bit. Even at 10 bucks, it's a lot, all right? I don't get paid to talk about XRP, by the way, which otherwise I think my videos would be kind of different. I'm telling you literally that I wouldn't necessarily buy it. But even if I was paid, I would still probably say the same thing. Yeah, so can't change that, right? If I'm not buying it, I'm not buying it. But I also have a stash on exchanges or on some other ledger, basically not my main stash, that I sometimes might sell and buy to either try get the lowest price possible or try get the highest quantity of coins on, just more speculating. And I always say, I think it's worth it to sometimes sell coins even at a loss because of opportunity cost. So I'd rather sell it now, even though I lost money, to buy something else that's going to make me more. Very often I sell coins under what I bought them at just so I can use that money to buy something else, which I think is going to do really well. If you do that 3 times and 3 times you mess up, all of a sudden your money is gone. So, be smart with that. But if you've been in the game for a while, you'll notice when there's a really good opportunity, you should not let slip up. And when it's just some degeneracy, But anyway, yeah, for me, it's either we go to the moon or we go to zero. There's no in between. For most people, though, if you're in that same boat and you already have coins, yeah, make up a good argument for yourself. And grab a little notebook. Start writing why you're still holding it, what you think is going to happen. If that makes sense, hold on. If you don't like the thesis anymore and you think the recent price gains have not been enough for you, you've not been satisfied, 35% over the last week or so you didn't make enough money on because you didn't actively listen to the videos I make and you didn't buy the actual dip and are right now cheering up because you made tons of profit, then you're on your own, my friend, and just write down whatever you think is wise. But if you didn't make money on this 30%, let's quickly check it out once more, just for fun. Let's quickly check it out. So the price went up, how much? The price went up roughly 37% in the past week. If you did not make crazy sums of money here on XRP, I'm not saying you should have now been able to retire, because a lot of people are not good at playing the game yet, but that's fine. If you're not able to turn this 36% move in 8 days into some sort of profit, then you're, oh my God. Anyway, that's why, for me, XRP has been wonderful. If you actively buy the dip, right now, if you did it, I don't understand how to make this easier for people. Right now, if you were just buying the freaking dip for like when? So even since November of last year, if you're actively buying the dip right now, because the price went to 38 cents, and it's right now at 52 or something, you would have made crazy gains because your average price could have been at what? Let's say 42 cents or something. You would have still been up 22%, even if your average price was 47 cents because you were bad at buying the dip. Maybe even here, right? Your average price would have been 49 cents. You'd still be up. Maybe not a ton, but you'd be up. And to be up 6% or so with leverage like we always do, let's say 10x leverage or so, if you were really, really paying attention, you could have done that. If you were not, then 10x would have been a lot for such a long amount of time. But with our Bitcoin longs, we also have a 17x open for a long time, like a year and a half, maybe a year or so. So with the 10x or so, that could have been 60% profit, which again, for let's just say November up till now, it would have not been amazing, but it could have worked. You know, could have definitely been solid. It would have been for ourselves 240 days, 60% profit. Definitely not bad. If it was 17x leverage, obviously a little bit more, but that would have also required some more strategic buying towards the downside. If things flip over though, and we start going even more bullish from here, I don't think there's any excuses anymore though. But